The Boreal Ecosystem. The Boreal Ecosystem, also known as taiga, is the largest biome on Earth apart from the oceans. It stretches in a broad subarctic band across North America and Eurasia, as it can be seen on the darkest parts of the map. The largest boreal ecosystem areas are found in Canada and Russia. To the north, the boreal forest stretches into the Arctic tundra, and to the south into the temperate forests and grasslands. Average temperatures are between -5 and 5 degrees Celsius, but there's great variation throughout the whole biome and throughout the year. The boreal winters are long and cold, and temperatures as low as -50 degrees are not uncommon in Siberia. This ecosystem has varying seasons with fast transitions from one to the other. The winters, the dominating season, are long with temperatures below the freezing point lasting around 5 to 7 months. Evergreen forests with a mix of birds and coniferous trees are typical to see in the boreal ecosystem. Pines, larches, and prunes stretch throughout the boreal belt. Due to hard winters, vegetation needs to be adapted to it. The trees have needles that shed snow easily, and they have a small surface covered in thick wax, which makes them well adapted to resist the cold climate and to minimize water loss during the freezing winters. The forest floor is covered in mosses, which serve as an important part of diet for many of the animals in the boreal forests. This harsh environment is home to only a few species of animals, some permanent and some migrating. These include wild reindeer, brown bear, Siberian tiger, and gray wolf, as well as birds migrating every summer to breed and forage. Scandinavia is no exception. In the winter, environment is harsh. Consequently, there is not a rich mammal presence. Even in the surrounding valleys, where there is some protection and some food under the snow, life is a struggle for most. However, the conditions in summer are kind, and most mammals flourish. The boreal forests represent 29 of the total forests of the world, which makes its conservation crucial, not only for the animals living there, but for all species on this planet. Unfortunately, the boreal ecosystem faces many threats, including climate change, overexploitation such as logging, hunting, mining, and different emerging diseases.
Climate changes are threatening the fragile balance of the ecosystem. Many species, like the caribou, are highly dependent on the reliableness of the changing seasons every year to reproduce. Migrating birds depend on the expected food flow and foraging opportunities that invite them to migrate at a specific time of year. It has been hypothesized that climate warming will allow southern species to advance north and invade northern ecosystems. Observed changes include range expansion and increased abundance in southern birds, ungulates, and carnivores, range contraction and decline in northern birds and carnivores, and abundance decline or periodically disrupted dynamics in cyclic populations of small and medium-sized mammals and birds. However, in addition to climate warming, suggested drivers of change include land use and other anthropogenic factors.
As much as 60% of emerging infectious diseases are believed to have an animal origin. The majority of these, 72%, originate from human-wildlife interactions. One Health is getting more and more attention because different professions are realizing that many diseases don't respect species barriers. One example is the World Health Organization, which now recognizes emerging zoonotic diseases as a global concern for human health. Here are some examples of diseases in the boreal ecosystem that are worth keeping an eye on if we want to secure healthy animals and healthy people.
Various Bartonella species have been recognized to cause emerging zoonotic diseases in humans, and new research indicates that they are present in the boreal ecosystem. The bacteria spreads in the boreal ecosystem via the deer head and use moose as their host. In Finland, more than 70% of moose were shown to have Bartonella bacteria in their blood. Similar numbers have been found in moose in Norway. This is significant because the deerkhead, which acts as the vector for Bartonella in this ecosystem, are known to incidentally bite humans and dogs, though the transmission of Bartonella to humans in this manner is not yet proven. New data indicates that the same species of Bartonella found in Scandinavian moose may be zoonotic, as it has been isolated from sick humans with vague clinical signs in France, albeit with a different host and apparently unknown vector. Hantavirus. Hantaviruses are enzootic viruses that maintain persistent infections in their rodent hosts without apparent disease symptoms. The spillover of these viruses to humans can lead to one of two serious illnesses: hantavirus pulmonary syndrome and hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. Hantaviruses are frequently transmitted to humans all over the world and are regarded as emerging viral diseases. The spread of zoonotic infectious diseases may increase due to climatic factors such as temperature, humidity, and precipitation. This is also true for hantaviruses. Climatic variations affect the rodent reservoir populations, and rodent population peaks coincide with increased number of human cases of hantavirus infections. The number of cases of pulmonary hantavirus has increased in the Boreal ecosystem in recent years, and northern Sweden has experienced large outbreaks in 1998 and 2006 to 2007.
Lyme disease and wildlife hosts. Lyme disease, also known as Lyme borreliosis, is an infectious zoonotic disease caused by different species of the bacteria Borrelia. The disease is transmitted through tick bites, and in the Nordic countries, Ixodes ricinus is the main vector. Borrelia-infected wildlife hosts, such as roe deer and rodent species, are often not showing any clinical signs, whereas Lyme disease in people can result in a range of different symptoms and even be fatal. Lyme disease is increasingly becoming a concern to public health officials as the tick vectors are spreading in response to climate change and warmer weather. The ticks are basically now able to survive in areas which before were tick-free, including further north in the Boreal Ecosystem. Chronic wasting disease in cervids. Chronic wasting disease, CWD, is a contagious and lethal prion disease in cervids including reindeer, moose, red deer, and roe deer, and it attacks the nervous system. Historically, primarily a concern in North America, in March 2016, CWD was for the first time documented in Europe when Norway diagnosed the disease in a reindeer. Since then, a couple of more cases in reindeer, red deer, and moose in Norway have been detected, and in March 2018, CWD was detected in a moose in Finland. Norway's goal is to eradicate CWD by removing cervids from the area in which reindeer has been detected with CWD. One major concern is the potentially very long survival of the prions in the environment, which might make eradication very difficult or even impossible. If spread even further, this might impact cervid populations and potentially the boreal ecosystem as a whole. So, all in all, if we want to maintain a healthy boreal ecosystem that is sustainable for future generations, we need to ensure that the wildlife living in it is healthy. Thank you for your attention.